My daughter told me a stranger was watching her. I never imagined it was family. It was an ordinary Tuesday evening when my daughter, Alina, came home from school unusually quiet. Normally full of chatter and laughter, she barely spoke, her eyes darting nervously around the living room. I offered her chocolate and made a few silly jokes, but nothing worked. Finally, in a whisper, she said, "Mom, there's someone watching me." My heart skipped a beat. I thought maybe she was imagining things children often let fear and imagination mingle, but the terror in her eyes was unmistakable. I asked her to sit and explain everything. She told me that over the past week, she had noticed a man lingering near our home. He never approached her directly but always seemed to be watching from a distance. What unnerved her most was that he seemed familiar somehow, as though she might have seen him before. The idea of someone watching my child, someone unknown with unknown intentions, was horrifying. I tried to calm her, but inside, a cold dread settled over me. I immediately called my husband, who was away on a business trip. He promised to come home as soon as possible, and I knew I had to act fast. That evening, I walked with Alina to the corner store, keeping a watchful eye on the streets and park. That's when she pointed to a figure near a tree. My heart raced as I approached. The man turned slightly, and my blood ran cold. It was him, my brother. I froze. I couldn't believe it. My own brother, the man I had trusted with my family's well-being, had been lurking outside watching my daughter. It was unfathomable. I felt a mix of betrayal, disbelief, and fear. My daughter's uncle, the person I had considered safe, was a predator in disguise. I didn't confront him immediately. I took Alina home, locked the doors, and called my husband again. We agreed to handle the situation carefully, prioritizing Alina's safety while gathering evidence. That night, I barely slept. Every creak, every shadow outside seemed like him waiting. The next morning, I contacted the police. They advised documenting everything, so I noted dates, times, and suspicious activity. I set up a small security camera at the front of the house. Alina, understandably frightened, didn't want to leave the house alone. I reassured her constantly, promising she was safe, though inside, I was terrified. Days passed. Then, one afternoon, the camera recorded him near the gate. I immediately called the authorities. The footage confirmed our worst fears: he had been stalking my daughter. The police investigation revealed that he had been coming by our home for weeks under the guise of casual visits. But his true intention was clear. I was shattered. How could someone I had grown up with, someone who had been a loving uncle at family gatherings, holidays, and celebrations, be capable of this? The betrayal cut deep. The police guided us on legal steps, restraining orders, enhanced security, and counseling for Alina to help her process the trauma. Even more disturbing was what we learned about his past. He had a history of inappropriate behavior and previous investigations for stalking that had been hidden from the family. The realization hit me hard. My brother had been a threat for years, and no one had known. I felt anger, guilt, and sorrow all at once. Alina struggled to adjust. She became wary of strangers, reluctant to go to school, and sometimes cried at night, fearing he might return. I sought help from a child psychologist specializing in trauma. Slowly, she began to regain confidence. She learned strategies to cope with fear, like recognizing safe spaces, communicating her feelings, and understanding boundaries. Each small victory, whether walking a little farther alone or sleeping through the night, felt monumental. Meanwhile, my husband and I faced the difficult reality of family dynamics. Some relatives refused to accept the truth. Others were supportive but cautious. Every family gathering became tense, filled with suspicion and grief. I realized that protecting Alina meant more than legal and physical precautions. It required emotional fortitude and resilience. Legal action was essential. The restraining order kept him away, but we pressed charges for stalking and harassment, submitting detailed records, photos, and Alina's testimony. The process was exhausting and emotionally draining, but absolutely necessary. I wanted to ensure that my daughter could grow up without fear and that justice would be served, even if it meant turning against someone I had once loved. Over time, Alina began to heal. She returned to school, participated in activities, and slowly made new friends. Her laughter returned, quiet at first, then more frequent, like a fragile flower growing through cracks in concrete. Watching her regain confidence reminded me why I had endured the sleepless nights, the fear, and the heartbreak. Protecting her had become my mission, and seeing her thrive reaffirmed every decision I had made. The experience forever changed my perspective on trust and family. I had once believed that blood ties guaranteed safety, but that illusion shattered. Danger can come from the most unexpected places, and vigilance, love, and communication are crucial. I learned to listen carefully to Alina's concerns, never dismiss her feelings, and act decisively when something felt wrong. I also realized the importance of teaching children about boundaries and awareness. Alina's courage in speaking up likely prevented a far worse outcome. Her honesty gave me the chance to intervene and secure her safety. I promised myself I would always honor her voice, her instincts, and her need for protection. Although my brother is no longer part of our lives, the impact of his actions lingers. Family gatherings are quieter, trust is measured, and memories of betrayal are hard to erase. Yet, through this ordeal, Alina and I formed a stronger bond, rooted not only in love but in shared resilience. We faced fear together and reclaimed our safety. Years later, when Alina walks home or plays outside, I watch her not out of paranoia, but out of respect for her vulnerability and the lessons we learned together. Those terrifying weeks remain vivid, a reminder that vigilance is not paranoia, that love sometimes demands difficult choices, and that children's voices deserve to be heard. This experience taught me a harsh but invaluable lesson. Safety and trust are not automatic. They must be earned, protected, and nurtured. Even when betrayal comes from within, healing is possible, resilience is real, and a family can survive though forever changed through courage, vigilance, and unwavering love. The ordeal with my brother changed our lives forever, leaving scars but also teaching invaluable lessons. What I once believed about family and trust was shattered sometimes. Danger hides in the people we least expect. Alina's bravery in speaking up became the turning point, showing me that children's voices, no matter how small or fearful, must always be heard. Through sleepless nights, police investigations, and countless emotional battles, we fought to reclaim our sense of safety and normalcy. Slowly, Alina healed, regaining confidence, laughter, and the ability to trust the world around her again. This experience taught me that protecting a child requires vigilance, courage, and decisive action. Trust must be earned, and boundaries must be respected, even within a family. While betrayal is painful, it also revealed the strength of our bond and the power of resilience. Today, we live more cautiously but also more consciously, treasuring every moment of safety and peace. And though memories of fear linger, they remind us that love, awareness, and courage can overcome even the most devastating betrayals. Through it all, Alina and I emerged stronger, wiser, and unbreakably united.